Trustee Blue.
Present.
Eastern Commissioner Brandon Jackson.
Present.
Lead us, sir.
I would love to. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Paula.
I appoint Commissioner Josie Blue as presiding for today's meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Paula. Appreciate your work.
Thank you.
I believe that there would not be anything to remove from our consent agenda, so we look at the consent agenda, which includes today's agenda, of course, the minutes from June the 17th and June the 20th, which have been looked at by commissioners and are ready to be approved. Financial is in that, a certified court order number 06-27-2024-01. And so then, what's this other? Somebody will have to clarify for me on this. Hiring outside attorney for representation.
It's from Danny. It's just permission to use money they budgeted for outside counsel along with Laclede and Greene County.
Does it have to be approved by the auditor?
Yes, it's on the sheet. She's also on there.
Be sure you sign off on it.
She's not yet.
I wonder if it doesn't need to be an item.
Yeah, I would, just because at last minute, and I don't mean to hold anything up, but I would almost kick that off the consent agenda and bring it back next week as a regular agenda item so that it can be presented to us in a fashion of explanation.
Yes, my instinct was the same. Of course, we do have the right to move it down and do it today, but that doesn't do much good for us in terms of, we've got the printed information, but I had not had a chance to see that. So
I believe in earlier conversations this morning, it is not necessarily time sensitive, as it just needs to be approved before the 10th of July. So I think next week on July 2nd, when we convene, that we could probably take care of it if the assessor would be available for a little more explanation, either written or in person.
all right, then I would suggest that we remove that from the consent agenda. And it really does not need to be on the consent agenda because it does need some discussion. And
I do believe it does.
And the very fact the consent agenda is for those things that happen routinely. This is not routine. It happens probably on an annual basis or something. All right, so we shall remove that from the consent agenda. Having said that, I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda without that last item.
So moved.
I second that motion. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Thank you for that. And Ms. Kayla, will you speak with our assessor, please, and explain to him that we're certainly anticipating that that's going to be fine, but we want to treat that with proper attention. Okay. All right. And then I think the only thing else we have to do is to see if there's any communications.
The only thing I have communication-wise is the first candidate for the Library Board of Trustees has been interviewed. The second candidate is tomorrow, at which time I'd be happy to, I guess we'll follow last year's procedure of submitting our choices to our administrative assistant. I believe the presiding commissioner is interested in potentially doing a phone interview with them. Between now and then, so we'll have to try to communicate, if you don't mind, if he's going to follow through with doing that, and if so, would he be submitting his choice to you as well? And so on the second, so we stay with our timeline, the second day of July, we can make that decision.
And when do they officially assume responsibility? Is that the 1st of August?
They would be sworn in at their July meeting, which is the last Monday of
Sworn in then.
Of the month.
And they want to do some onboarding even before that.
They would, yeah. And they had actually reached out and asked if at all possible, we could make our decision a little bit sooner than July 2nd. That would just give them a little bit more time to do that onboarding. But we had already established our timeline. And
Yes, and I'd like Mr. Morse to be able to weigh in on that if at all possible.
yes.
All right, so Ms. Kayla, you'll follow through on that as well. On communications, I have nothing else. Anybody in the room? All right.
Only other thing, we've had a huge amount of participation in Senate Bill 190 over the past couple of weeks. If you notice
Yes.
the hallway, sometimes I can't tell if we're doing a Senate Bill 190 waiting room or if we've got a group of students touring the building because
Yeah,
the
yeah.
echoes. But it's nice that people are participating in that program, and they have created, there have been some trust issues
Right.
in our political issues with some trusts.
I understood exactly what you said.
I just wanted to clarify, and they're going to work with them, continue to work with them to get those issues cleared up, so that they will be have almost a timeline extension, so that it'll be very good
Right.
for them.
Yeah.
But the rest of the individuals still have that June 30th timeline
Right.
for
Right.
consideration.
And the last I had heard, the governor had still not signed the
Correct.
576 or whatever it was, the cleanup work on that bill, but everybody says that it's going to be done. But I wonder, do you know how Ted's handling that right now? Is for people that say are retired from the railroad, is he still saying no to them until the governor
Yeah,
signs it?
I think they're holding all of their applications in a separate file, so that once
Good.
that's signed and then we change and make our adoption to mirror the new language,
Right.
then they can be processed.
Yeah, good.
So he has until, I think, July the 12th to sign, veto, or to not sign. Of course, in the state of Missouri, if he doesn't sign, it will become law without his signature.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for the update on
You
that.
bet.
Okay, Ms. Kim, was there anything from you today?
No, sir.
Just graced us with your
I've
presence.
been taking out my nap.
Well, we're glad you're here. All right, then, seeing no further business, we stand adjourned.
Perfect.